Chant a psalm a day. And so that's how we choose to start the show. 6:37, 17th of February 2025. Yes, and I have in the studio. We always used to sing it wrong. No, me, I used to, what did I used to say?
I chant a psalm a day in the end.
Chant to somebody.
Still pause to take their song. We'll take our song.
You know, so it says chant a psalm a day, but I used to hear something else. You know. Anyway, good morning, Godfrey. Good morning, Caleb.
Good morning. But a quick one. So,
yes.
This Kwame Nkrumah interchange that they are. Obechebi.
Obechebi Lamte.
Yes, Obechebi. Mm-hmm. Does the interchange and where does it end? Because I don't know why they are refusing to touch the Zongo Junction side. It's causing so much traffic. So you do a smooth drive, you descend,
and then you enter hell.
Then hell.
Yeah.
They've left it on both sides.
So you are making reference to the circle towards Obechebi Lamte. Then after Obechebi Lamte, going towards Kolebu.
Yeah, going to the traffic light before Mortuary Road.
What we need to do,
it's a hellish drive.
What you need to do is to put your team to find out what the scope of the project was and what roads were to have been done.
Yeah.
Maybe the project has been varied. Maybe there wasn't enough money. Okay. Maybe there are issues, because you're right. You leave a nice road and then you enter a complete. And when it rains, it's even so bad.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, we actually think that there needs to be a lot of audit of roads to see whether the I think so. I think so, because you know you can have a road done, some part is nice, and another part is just left, and then they abandon. For example, now people are telling me that in Sawam Road is slowed down, and all that the motor they already are working. They look as if they have a deadline of June.
But you're right, it's my
motorway.
My Poma is the contractor.
Charlie, get it night and day, bro. Meanwhile, in Sawam, Charlie, they just take on easy. So it's like Tema people's government is in power.
Yeah, man.
Sawam people are opposite. But your MP is misbehaving. So in Sawam, if you don't advise your MP,
good morning.
Charlie, because the way the motor look on both sides, so and you know they've dug the road, they are padding the material.
Thank you,
Charlie. Giddy. So in Sawam, people move to Tema.
Yes, and this will also help us here. Okay, Bernard, let me take you to the front page of the Daily Graphic. The president has been very busy.
Really?
Yes, it says Africa must be self-reliant in financing development. President Mahama. There's a photo of him in a handshake with Abiy Ahmed, Ethiopian Prime Minister, looking on as Joao Lourenço as well, Angolan president. And these are the AU meeting in Addis Ababa, to which they gave your good friend and
Raila
friend, Baba Odinga another loss. Odinga, we won't let him win if he won.
From domestic to international.
We don't want him to even win class prefect.
And to think that he lost to somebody we don't even know from Djibouti. Oh, Charlie, Djibouti.
Oh, God, Raila.
And also the front fear delegates, including African. Nana exempt. Fear delegates.
No, but I'm sure Ghana voted for him, because the president went to see Kenya and they came here with. So I think they had fair assurance.
Do you know what Djibouti also did? Fear delegates. Aftermath of government directive, minority condemns job termination, but majority leader says government stands by decision. Dame criticizes court case withdrawals by AG. 159 million Ghana City teacher training allowance for 2023-2024 unpaid.
Ghanaian Times. Let's restore lasting peace to Boko. Asante Hene appeals to factions. President Mahama calls for justice, equity for Africans. Work on Tamale water supply to commence. Works and Housing Minister Kenneth Gilbert Ajay speaking.
Okay.
Front page of the Herald newspaper. Tension escalates between Ghana's military chiefs as CDS launches board of inquiry to probe army commander. Lance Minister still paying lip service to Galamsey fight. Ignores calls to remove Minerals Commission boss. Roads Minister, Chinese ambassador discuss smart highways future project. Sami Jeffries on the front page of the paper. Godfrey Damiels on the front page of the paper.
Right. Chronicle. Otumfo bluntly tells Amabua, deal decisively with Galamsey kingpins. Disaster strikes Star Depot, 2 Chinese Ghanaian dead. And then digitalization key to unlock Africa's potentials. Baumia speaking, police CID boss sues NIB over her late husband's AC.
Oh,
Let me take you to the front page of the Ghanaian publisher. Digital economy no longer a luxury. But he's also had a busy month.
Yes.
Lecturing everywhere. Mahama's AG whitewashing former NDC officials, Dame. Samia Oku launches Ofie Market Initiative. Exim Bank sacks 16 staff recruited in September 2024, according to this paper. And GMPC have welcomed their new acting CEO, Kwame Into.
okay.
Today, reparatory justice for Africans and people of African descent non-negotiable. This is President Mahama. Otumfo cries over mining concession takeover. Oh, is it takeover? He said some illegal miners had invaded his concession. That was no today, please. Boku conflict. Government imposes curfew on Wale Wale, bans carrying of ammunitions.
Front page of the news center, Baumias on the front page.
Yeah.
No Ghana card, no national service. Real-time verification before payment and ghost names. Another Ghana card story makes it to the front page of the paper. ICUMS rakes in 126 billion Ghana cedis, 345% increase, according to the paper.
Informer forged last will and testament of the late Alhaji Saleh Abdul Lai, lawyer dragged to legal counsel. Now raid at Oforiate's house, OSP not involved. Galamsey fight, Otumfo proposes multifaceted approach and reform UN Security Council. Mahama urges conference and on appointment to Mahama government. Apia Kubi lobbies for Alan. Interesting one here.
Which
Let me-
Abiyakudu is this?
Yeah, Andy.
He's lobbying for Alan Cash
Yes, sir.
to be appointed and Mahama appointee.
Yes, please.
Let me take
Why
you
didn't we
to-
take Alan for the AU work? He would have done a better job. What do you think? Alan
maybe,
for AU.
maybe he wasn't interested.
All right.
Let me take you to the business pages, but I have two quickly. Economy Times front page is talking about cocoa. Ghana likely to meet revised cocoa production targets for 2024-2025 crop season. Ghana's economic woes are self-inflicted, says the World Bank. On the front page of the BNFT, AI growth hinges on education, investment, and regulation. Ghana Stock Exchange eyes new IPOs in 2025.
Quick ones, Inquisitor. Sorry, Falls Ayariga, for apologize, saying to Ofori at a raid of wanted Kent's home, it wasn't the OSP. Dami court pants down on Edu Ampome's perjury matter. Government pledges to complete Afari Military Hospital in September, and Sami Kapo Ewuku launches Ofie Market.
Let me take you online. City News from Mahama rules out immediate IMF extension, prioritizes fiscal stability. Meanwhile, Cocoa Board denies cocoa price hike and warns against misinformation. In other headlines, MPP warns IGP Rexec of Ashanti Region Council of State election disruptions. Now, there's a number of committees being set up by this government. So now the Minister for Energy, John Jinapo, has set up a committee to probe ECG procurement under the Akufo-Addo regime. Now, we're also told Samuel Nate George has set up a committee to work on reducing prices of data. In the meantime, NDC chairman Asirim Kitia says no one will get away with corruption under the NDC.
Okay.
And then government rejects over 8 billion bids for the latest T-bill auction. If you go to ChannelOne News, the story about GMPC's new CEO, this is something we need to probe in. So, Edward Bauer was appointed GMPC CEO. 2 weeks later, he was moved to GOIL.
Wow.
And then Kwame Nto Amwa was appointed. We don't know whether what's going on. Whether, I don't know. This has to be explained properly. And then a few more stories here. Mahama risks impeachment over public sector dismissals. This is the chairman Bonsu.
Okay.
In Sawam Adrojiri, NDC denounced another press conduct, demands his resignation. And then Baumia says, I was ridiculed for my digitalization vision. And then NSA scandal, ghost names included 90-year-olds.
Che.
90-year-olds. Indeed, this story, the full story is on the Fourth Estate, where it says the inside story, NSS scandal. We'll deal with that later on the show today. Let me go to my journal line, a few headlines for you. Ghana government to pay cocoa farmers 70% of world market price. And then global oil drops, but cedi depreciation keeps fuel prices high. This is not good. Meanwhile, in Tema, stains from spillover of large sackaways threaten Tema residents' health. Kwame Nkrumah's iconic Tema is smelling from stench. Or is that the right English? Smelling from whatever. A few other stories. Asante Kotoko, Big Wigs Grace Nana Pole's 1 week observation. Now, I wanted to give you a story from Raila Odinga's loss. Now, if you go to his home country, the nation, guess who they are blaming for his loss? How Ruto's baggage sank Raila's AUC bid. So this is like the equivalent of Daily Graphic in Kenya. So their lead story. In fact, there are about 2 stories there on this. Ruto cost Raila AUC seat, according to Kalonzo Musyoka. You know, Charlie, a lot of it's like the whole probe into the loss of Raila Odinga. Meanwhile, Raila says President Ruto did all he could to support me in AUC chairmanship race. They say it was his baggage that brought you down. Now, still in the African continent, Rwanda-backed rebels control key city. Congo's government says. This is the Bloomberg's Africa page. How rebel advances in Congo threaten war with Rwanda. Now, this is very, very serious. We need to keep a close eye on this story. The BBC is talking about UK and Ukraine. The Ukrainian president has been busy meeting EU leaders. And then he's been talking about how he thinks this war can be brought to a conclusion. So where do you want to start from?
I want to start from Wale Wale.
Okay, curfew.
Page 53 of the Daily Graphic. Very disturbing issues happening there. A dusk to dawn curfew has been imposed on Wale Wale and its environs in the northeast region following recent disturbances that have claimed several lives and left many others injured. The curfew starts at 6 p.m. and ends at 6 a.m. The Ministry of the Interior arrived at the decision last Saturday on the advice of the Northeast Regional Security Council to prevent further disturbances in the area, which has witnessed a series of attacks on vehicles and alleged military brutalities on residents in recent times. For the past months, there have been a series of attacks on passengers plying the Tamale Wale Wale Bolgatanga Highway, particularly along the Wale Wale enclave. Many people have lost their lives, while others have sustained life-threatening injuries. Also, many vehicles have been burnt as a result of the incident. Following the development, the residents last Saturday protested against the imposition of the curfew and the alleged brutalities in the area. Clad in red, they besieged the palace of the chief of Wale Wale, Mbadurana, to register their displeasure and also demand answers from the Northeast Regional Minister, Ibrahim Tia, about the imposition of the curfew.
This is very serious indeed. There have been reactions to this. You read it in the news. The MP for Wale Wale is not happy. There are a couple of stories around this. So, for example, if you go to ChannelOne News, Wale Wale MP condemns curfew as politically motivated. So this story is attributing this view to Dr. Muhammad Tiabu Kabiru, who criticized the government's decision to impose a curfew on Wale Wale. Now, still on security, the Ashanti Regional Caucus of the MPP is warning IGP and RECSEC of Ashanti Region Council of State election disruptions. Now, the caucus whose spokesperson on this particular issue is the MP for Otafo. Basically are demanding a change of venue from the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council to a neutral location to prevent a repeat of last week's disturbances. At a news conference in Kumasi on Sunday, MP for Otafo, Vincent Kwesifua, said the MPP in Ashanti region would resist any attempt to undermine the people's will. All right, so
those venue has been changed to the Prempeh Hall today.
What have the parties got to do with the Council of State elections?
It's very partisan, apparently.
In Ghana, everything has to do with parties. This is everything. Now, the background is the Council of State elections in Ashanti disrupted as a result of some people who went there. Okay, let me come to Caleb.
So, let's restore lasting peace to Boko. The Asantehene is appealing to factions, back to security issues that the National Asantehene Otumfuo Setutu has agreed to mediate in the Boko conflict, which has resulted in the deaths of many citizens. Consequently, he called on all parties involved in the conflict to put aside their differences and work towards finding a peaceful resolution. He expressed his deep concern about the conflict and its potential to destroy the country's unity and progress. This development followed a meeting with a government delegation led by Defense Minister Dr. Edward Omane Boama, Interior Minister Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak at the Mensha Palace. So here you have the Otumfuo agreeing to lead.
Guys, I have 3 stories of interest. Now, it seems to me as if the Energy Ministry, the Telecommunications Ministry, and National Service Secretariat have all come under scrutiny. So first one, Jinapo sets up committee to probe ECG procurement under Akufo-Addo. Now, Minister for Energy and Green Transitions, John Jinapo, has established a committee to investigate procurement activities carried out by the ECG during the Akufo-Addo administration. According to Jinapo, ECG engaged in what he calls frivolous procurement. leading to significant financial losses. He revealed that approximately 3,000 ECG containers are currently stranded at the ports, accumulating demurrage cost estimated at 1.5 billion cedis. It's all because they engaged in what I call frivolous procurement. Now, he says they have about 3,000 containers stuck at the ports, generating demurrage of about 1.5 billion, which is very unacceptable. He was speaking on an interview on TV3. He has set up a committee to investigate ECG's procurement, and basically is not happy. Then, if you go to the Minister for Communication, he's done a couple of things. He is restructuring Communications Ministry, requesting CVs from directors. So, the Minister for Communication, Samuel George, has embarked on a strategic human resource restructuring to align with the President's vision. A media advisory issued on Saturday, February 15, stated that the restructuring aims to enhance efficiency and effectiveness. Now, as part of this, he had earlier requested CVs from all directors and senior management staff, signaling an impending leadership realignment. Now, that's not the only thing he's doing. He is also set up a committee to probe and possibly reduce the cost of data. So he has inaugurated a 23-member interagency data pricing committee. The committee were drawn from stakeholders in the data space to develop a roadmap that would lead to reduction in data cost. So that's the second story. Third one of interest this morning is national service. Now, this is ChannelOne News. It says, NSA scandal. Ghost names included 90-year-old. This is Suleiman Brahma. The Fourth Estate's latest investigation into Ghana National Service Scheme has uncovered shocking irregularities with purported national service personnel listed as being over 90 years old. The report uncovered that the NSS database included individuals who allegedly completed higher education at an unusually advanced age. One such case involved a 93-year-old named Nimatus, listed as a graduate of the University for Development Studies and posted to a primary school in the Upper West region. Another, a 91-year-old Ruth Abdullah, was assigned to a different district. Now, speaking on key points on Saturday, February 15, Executive Director of the Fourth Estate, Suleiman Brahma, revealed that the database contained fictitious names, suggesting a scheme to divert funds meant for legitimate service personnel. Now, these anomalies were found in 2022, 23, 24 service years, with some universities, particularly UDS and UEW, linked to thousands of fraudulent index numbers. However, officials from the institutes have denied any involvement, raising further questions about the scale of the fraud and those responsible. Meanwhile, Executive Director of the scheme, Felix Jemfi, has disputed the accuracy of Brahma's revelations, describing them as not wholly accurate. What Suleimana is showing is not factual. There is ongoing investigations to establish culpability, but it's not yet, Mr. Jemfi told 3 News. We'll get more on this later.
Okay, let me take you to the government and government business on the front page of the Daily Graphic, where heads of state institutions have annulled the appointments and recruitments of all persons who are employed into public services after December 7. This coming from Minority Leader Alexander Fenyamakin. He said those who were dismissed were issued with termination letters to go home in compliance with the directive from the Office of the President for such appointments to be revoked.
Meanwhile, the ongoing post-December 7 appointments review, no one to be spared. This is the Majority Leader speaking on Ghanaian Times, page number 4. Majority Leader in Parliament, Mahama Yariga, says no individual recruited into the public sector after December 7 last year will be spared from the ongoing review and cancellation of appointments. He said the process of revoking these appointments would be thorough and strictly enforced to ensure accountability and fairness. You're speaking on the floor of Parliament.
So the President has come back from the AU summit. He's asking, and he's been saying a lot of things. He's saying Africans should finance their own development, ensure tax compliance to bridge Africa's financing gap. He also said this over the weekend. And he also rules out an immediate IMF extension and is prioritizing fiscal stability. He spoke to Bloomberg News at Munich during a security conference on Monday. The President clarified that while future extension remains an option, his government is presently committed to adhering to the existing program. All right, we may bring you some highlights of this. Now, at the AU summit that he attended, the favorite for the position of AU Commission Chair, Raila Odinga, lost miserably. And there's a very interesting article on today, Monday, February 17, of The Nation. And it says how William Ruto's baggage sabotaged Raila Odinga's AUC bid. And basically, it's blamed the current president for the statesman's loss.
And the editorial of the Daily Graphic, very happy with it today. Government must protect reclaimed Agbogbosi land. With reference to the encroachments that is happening there. Apparently, the original minister has presented a report to the president, and the president is supposed to meet the stakeholders of Agbogbosi to discuss the matter. So we'll see how that one goes.
But I understand KNUST has admitted over 50,000 freshmen.
Are you
for
serious?
The 2024-2025 academic
50,000.
50,000 freshmen.
Legon graduated over 60,000 graduates this past week.
No, I think it's 15,000 for
for admissions in Legon.
No, I'm talking of graduation.
Graduation.
No, but this is for graduate school.
No, I'm talking about the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Different groups of graduates. You know, they did from like Tuesday.
Yes, it will end on Thursday or Friday.
I want the text story. 50,000.
50,000, 50, Bernard. So, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has admitted a total of 50,895 new students for the 2024-2025 academic year. Professor Mrs. Rita Kosia-Dixon, Vice Chancellor KNUST, has announced. So, there is a breakdown. She disclosed that 69,882 applicants out of 92,975 applicants met the basic entry requirement for admission. But due to some constraints, the university admitted a total of 50,895, comprising 11,084 postgraduate students, 39,811 undergraduate students. Yep.
50,000 students.
Yep.
Charlie.
The infrastructure, no way.
No, this is serious.
This is the City Breakfast Show. The city's